A secret council chamber, dimly lit, cold. He's too dangerous. We have no choice, Iron Man declares. Hulk's hands are bound. He's not fighting. He's willing. Black Panther lowers his head, not in agreement, but in guilt. Captain Marvel doesn't speak. She just looks away. The vote is unanimous. Almost. One seat is empty. Thunder cracks. Mjolnir strikes the ground outside. Thor is coming. And he didn't vote because he won't let it happen. The council gathered in silence, not because they were unified, but because they were afraid to speak the truth out loud. A city was gone, not damaged, not under repair. Gone. A crater where life once was. Buildings, people, children, erased in less than 6 minutes. The footage was restricted to level 9 access. Only the council saw the raw feed. No music, no edits, just the sound of the Hulk's roar echoing as the earth trembled beneath his feet. Even Bruce Banner had no excuses this time. He sat in the middle of the chamber, head bowed, wrist shackled by vibranium cuffs, his idea. "I should have known," he whispered. "I felt it coming. I let it happen." Iron Man stood at the center console, helmet off, eyes bloodshot. "Bruce, I've defended you more times than I can count. But this time, I buried children. With my own hands. You don't come back from that." Black Panther said nothing. His hand tightened around the hilt of his ceremonial blade. Beside him, Dr. Strange kept scanning the room, measuring probabilities, none of them good. Captain Marvel floated above the table, arms crossed. She wasn't angry. She was numb. That was worse. "We can't contain him anymore," Strange finally said. "Not magically. Not technologically. We've tried. Every method has a 90% failure rate. Next time it won't be one city." "He knows," Carol added. "That's why he's here. That's why he hasn't run." Banner nodded, barely audible. "If there's a way to end this, I'll take it." And just like that, the room shifted. It wasn't about strategy anymore. It wasn't about politics or superhero codes or collateral damage charts. It was about a man asking his friends to end him before he destroyed something worse. "We vote," said Iron Man, "alive or terminated." "No trial," asked Black Panther. "What jury can judge a god?" said Strange. The silence that followed was colder than any winter. One by one, the council cast their votes. Carol, terminate. Strange, terminate. Panther paused, then nodded. Terminate. Iron Man, shaking, gave the final nod. Terminate. But there was one seat still empty, a symbol etched into the chair, the All-Father's crest. Thor's chair. He wasn't there. He hadn't been informed. No one dared. Because they all knew. Thor would never allow this. "We act before he returns," Stark said. "We do it clean. No spectacle. Hulk doesn't resist. We give him dignity." Carol floated higher, glowing brighter. "I'll do it myself." "No," said Strange. "I'll handle the spell. One incantation. Instant. Painless. Gone." The council disbanded. Silent. Heavy. No one met each other's eyes. Banner was taken to a secure holding cell deep beneath Wakanda. Not because he was a prisoner, because he was a ticking bomb with a conscience. But across the Bifrost, on a world scarred by war and thunder, Thor Odinson felt the weight of something crack. A thread in the cosmos, cut. He had been off-world brokering peace between warring realms. A task that took the diplomacy of Asgard and the fury of Mjolnir in equal measure. But now, the peace fell hollow. He summoned Heimdall's echo. "What has happened on Earth?" The response was short, clipped. "Hulk is to be executed." Time stopped. Thor's grip tightened around the handle of Mjolnir until lightning flickered through his veins. By who? The echo fell silent. Thor didn't wait. He stormed back to Earth in a crack of golden lightning that split the sky, landing in the ruins of the Avengers compound, now just a council HQ. He didn't knock. Doors blew inward. Walls cracked. Thor entered with rage disguised as calm. Tony stood in the hallway. "You kept this from me," Thor said. "You weren't here. I would have come. You would have stopped us." Thor stepped closer. "And why do you think that is, Stark?" "Because you don't see what we see. You still think the Hulk is your war brother. You think he's the man who bled beside you in Sakaar. But that man's gone. What's left is unstable, dangerous. He's begging for an end. He's my friend. He killed thousands. I've killed thousands. Then maybe we should have voted on you too. Silence. Heavy. Then thunder rumbled. I do not take threats lightly, Thor said, eyes glowing. And I don't take betrayals lightly, Tony replied. The council did what it had to do. No, said Thor. The council did what it feared to do. He turned, cloak billowing, storm gathering above the skies of Wakanda. They weren't fast enough to stop him. By the time Carol realized where he was going, it was too late. Because Thor wasn't going to stop the execution. He was going to stop the Avengers. He wasn't supposed to come back yet. Not for another month. The Bifrost had barely cooled when Thor stepped onto Earth, cloak torn, lightning flickering across his shoulders like rage trying to break through skin. The sky trembled, not because of his power, but because it knew what he was about to learn. Thor's boots crushed the Council's private landing pad. Stark Tower's new shield scanners tried to slow him down. They failed. The doors didn't open. He ripped them off their hinges anyway. Where is he asked, but no one answered. The AI hesitated. The security team scattered. Only Vision stood there, immovable, ghostly calm. Thor, you should sit. Where is he? Vision blinked. In containment. But not for long. Those 4 words hit harder than Mjolnir ever could. Containment was never permanent. And if they dared lock Hulk away, they weren't planning to keep him. They were preparing to erase him. Thor didn't sit. He didn't wait. He moved through the tower like a storm that remembered every betrayal ever made. In the war room, they were already debriefing. Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, of course, sitting at the head of the table like a king playing chess with lives. Look who decided to show up, Stark said without looking. Tell me it's not true. Tony raised an eyebrow. Define true. You voted to kill him. The silence was the answer. Thor. Strange started, palms up, voice measured. Bruce is losing control. Every transformation is harder to reverse. He begged us. Said if it happened again. Did it happen again? Thor snapped. No answer. I asked you a question. Did it happen again? Not yet, Black Panther said quietly. But when it does, it could be worse than Sokovia, than Harlem. We are trying to prevent another extinction level. You are trying to avoid guilt. Thor's voice darkened. You hide behind logic, numbers. But this is not math. This is murder. Tell that to the millions who'll die when he finally snaps, Tony said, standing. We gave in peace, Thor. He agreed. No. Banner agreed, Thor growled. You never asked the Hulk. The room shifted, not physically, but emotionally, as if something ancient and angry had just joined the conversation. Thor's eyes sparked. He stepped forward. Do you know what he told me? During Ragnarok? When the Grandmaster made us fight. No one spoke. He said, Hulk always alone. Even when you called him a hero, even when he saved your cities, fought your wars, he knew, someday, you'd turn on him. Tony's expression twisted. Not guilt, not regret, just steel. This isn't personal. To him, it always was. Thor turned, cloak whipping. But before he could leave, you stop this now, and the blood's on your hands, Stark called out. Thor didn't turn back. Then may it stain them forever. The cell wasn't cold. That's what broke Thor most. It was warm, comfortable, peaceful, like a retirement home for heroes who didn't make the cut. Hulk sat cross-legged, quiet, calm, almost small. Banner had receded. This was pure Hulk, but not the roaring beast. The other one. The one Thor had only seen twice, once after Natasha died, and once when Sakaar burned. Hulk looked up. Thor. They told me you agreed. Hulk nodded. I don't believe you. Hulk's eyes, green and ancient, stared into his. Tired. Always fight. Always hurt. People scared. Friends scared. You scared too. Thor knelt. Never. Silence. Hulk tilted his head. They come soon. Thor nodded. I won't let them. No. Thor blinked. No fight. If fight, Hulk come out. Hurt more. You think this is noble? Thor's voice cracked. Letting them erase you because they're afraid. Not noble. Just done. Thor stood. You saved my life more times than I can count. You threw yourself into hell for people who called you a monster. You bled for gods and mortals alike. You don't get to quit. Hulk's lip curled. Not a snarl. Something sadder. Maybe this time, I do. Thunder rumbled far above. The sky wept. But Thor didn't. Then I'll fight for you. Back at the tower, they prepared the Omega Protocol. That's what they called it. Neat, sterile, clinical. Thor shattered it in 3 words. I revoke consent. Legally, the council needed full member consent to carry out a kill order on another hero. Thor's voice echoed through the chamber like lightning through a canyon. You're not his keeper, Carol snapped. He made his choice. He made a choice after you broke him, Thor replied. Strange stepped forward. Thor, this path leads to civil war. Again. So be it. Iron Man's eyes narrowed. You'd go against all of us? Risk everything? For him. Thor didn't flinch. I owe him. And with that, the god of thunder vanished into the storm. They sent the team an hour later. Secretly, quietly, not to the tower, but to the forest bunker Hulk had been moved to for safety. The council assumed Thor wouldn't be there yet. They were wrong. Mjolnir hit the ground like Judgment Day, sending Captain Marvel flying before she even touched down. Falcon's wings snapped like twigs in the wind. Black Widow's tranquilizer was turned to ash mid-air. Thor stood between them and the bunker, eyes burning. No more silence. No more councils. If you want him. He raised the hammer. Come take him. It should have been quiet. A peaceful day in the forest. Birds in the trees. The wind threading through pine needles. Hulk sat beside a creek, hands in the dirt, teaching a child how to plant. Not punch. Not smash. Just grow. Push the roots down deep, he said in a low rumble. So wind no take it. The boy looked up at him with wonder. Is this your home now? Hulk didn't answer. He couldn't. He didn't know. Peace, for him, was always rented, never owned. And today, the landlord came knocking. They dropped from the sky like shadows made of metal. No warnings. No calls. No voices. Just movement. Red lasers scanned the tree line. Heat signatures locked. Authorization codes approved. Target confirmed. A second later, the trees exploded. But Hulk wasn't there. Thor was. Lightning shredded the air before their boots even hit the ground. Captain Marvel took the hit full force. She barely stayed conscious. Hawkeye fired 3 shots. Thor caught all of them without blinking. War Machine launched a drone. It didn't make it 10 feet. He wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting to send a message. No more back doors. No more secrets. You want war? Then stop pretending it's peace. Hawkeye gritted his teeth. You're protecting a bomb. I'm protecting a brother. Behind them, Hulk stepped out of the bunker. No rage. No roar. Just Hulk. Hands empty. Eyes tired. He looked around. At the heroes who once called him teammate. Then at the children fleeing into the hills, terrified by the sounds of war. Why you come here? Hulk asked. Play safe. No fight here. You think peace is enough to erase what you are? Rhodey barked. You think planting flowers makes up for Sokovia? Johannesburg? Hell, even Harlem? I didn't come to erase you, said Carol, rising from the ground. I came to end the cycle. But Hulk only looked at Thor. You told them. Thor nodded. They didn't care. Hulk looked down. A long breath. Told you not to fight. I told you not to give up. Hulk's fingers clenched. Not in anger. In pain. I didn't give up. I just got tired. But the Avengers didn't wait for another speech. Rhodey fired. Hulk dodged barely. The missile detonated against a rock, scattering flame. Carol rushed in, fist glowing white-hot. Thor met her in the middle, hammer to photon blast, sending out a shockwave that shook the sky. Stand down, she yelled. Make me, he growled. She tried. They collided again, fist to thunder. power cracking the air like glass. The mountain groaned. Trees caught fire. Birds vanished. And in the chaos, Hulk stood still, staring at his hands. "Always smash. Always fight," he muttered. He saw Captain America's shield shattered in a flashback. Black Widow's hand reaching for his before the fall. Banner's face in the mirror, begging for control. He didn't want this anymore. And yet here it was. Again, Thor blocked a repulsor blast from Hawkeye's drone, crushing it midair. "They won't stop," he shouted. "You have to choose." Hulk looked around. His garden was gone. The creek had turned to mud. Smoke curled through the trees like snakes. "Don't make me," he whispered. War Machine lined up a shot. He fired. It never landed. Thor threw Mjolnir not at the missile, but at Rhodey himself, knocking the entire suit out of the air in a single strike. He crashed hard into the dirt, alive but unconscious. "Next one," Thor warned, "won't be so lucky." But they didn't back down. Because to them, Thor wasn't saving Hulk. He was enabling him, shielding a weapon of mass destruction that could detonate at any second. And then Hulk moved. Not fast, not furious, just forward. He stepped between Thor and the others. "Stop." The word came out like a commandment. Thor blinked. "What are you doing?" "No more protect. No more hiding. If they want Hulk, they get Hulk." His body began to shift, shoulders broadening, spine cracking, muscles swelling. But it wasn't rage. It was resolve. Carol braced for a hit. Hawkeye drew again. Thor started to shout. And then Hulk knelt, arms out, eyes closed. "Do it." Silence. Even the forest froze. Carol lowered her hands. "What? Kill me. Or let me go." But no more chase. No more running. Hulk tired of being hunted like monster. "No," Thor whispered. "Yes," Hulk said. But no one moved. Because deep down, even the ones who came to kill him didn't really want to. Not like this. Then another voice broke through. Digital. Distant. "Stand down," came Tony's voice from a comlink. "Everyone, stand down." Carol tapped her earpiece. "Tony, we've lost the narrative," he said. "You kill him like this, you don't look like heroes. You look like executioners." Carol clenched her jaw. "So we just let him go?" "No," Tony said. "We let them leave. If they run, the world watches. If we chase, we become the villains." Thor looked up, eyes burning. "You were already the villains." Tony didn't respond. Thor walked over to Hulk, pulled him to his feet. "Where will we go?" Hulk asked. "Far. Quiet. Somewhere no one will follow." "They always follow." Thor smiled sadly. "Then let them try." And with that, they vanished into the mist. A god, a monster, and 1,000 years of war buried under pine trees and broken trust. The Avengers didn't chase. They just stood there, watching the ones they once called family disappear into exile. They didn't plan to chase. That was the lie they told themselves. But the moment Thor and Hulk vanished into the mist, the world felt smaller, quieter, like something essential had walked away and left a wound behind. Satellites picked them up first, then governments, then fear. The headlines didn't ask questions. They accused. God and monster flee Earth. Hulk at large, Thor defects. Avengers split over execution order. And just like that, the Council's hesitation turned into panic. Tony stared at the screen long after the others had left the room. Every projection showed the same thing. 2 energy signatures moving farther from civilization, toward regions no one monitored anymore. Carol crossed her arms. "You know how this ends." Tony didn't look at her. "Yeah, I do." "He won't stop," she said. "And neither will Hulk. Today it's exile. Tomorrow it's a city." Tony finally turned. "You want to be the one who kills Thor?" Carol hesitated. That was enough. The order went out an hour later. Quietly. No vote this time. No ceremony. Retrieve Thor. Neutralize Hulk. By any means necessary. No one said it out loud, but everyone understood. If Thor stood in the way, Thor fell too. They found them near the edge of the dead zone, a place abandoned after too many disasters, too much radiation, too many ghosts. Hulk sat on the remains of a broken highway, staring at the sky. Thor stood watch, lightning humming low around him like a warning growl. "You feel that?" Hulk asked. Thor nodded. "Yes." "They coming?" "Yes." Hulk exhaled slowly. "Told you." Thor gripped Mjolnir. "I told them." The ground shook before the first Avenger even landed. Doctor Strange opened a portal behind Thor, not to attack, but to trap. Thor shattered it mid-cast with a bolt of lightning, so precise it burned the spell out of existence. "Enough," Strange shouted. "This doesn't have to." Thor didn't let him finish. Mjolnir struck the ground between them, sending a shockwave that knocked Strange flat. "You opened the door to this," Thor said. "Now you live with it." Captain Marvel descended like a falling star, eyes blazing. "Last chance." Thor stepped forward. "Then listen carefully." Lightning surged up his arms, coiling around his chest, cracking the sky open above them. "If you take one more step toward him," Thor said, voice carrying like thunder across the ruins, "I will stop pretending we are on the same side." Falcon hovered overhead, wings rattling. Thor. A sonic blast from Mjolnir ripped through the air, shredding Falcon's balance and slamming him into the concrete. No hesitation, no mercy. Not anymore. Hulk stood slowly. "Thor, don't." Thor didn't turn. They made their choice. "So did you," Hulk said. And then it happened. Carol attacked. Not a warning shot. Not restraint. A full-force strike aimed at Hulk's chest. Thor moved without thinking. He took it. The blast hurled him through 3 collapsed buildings, lightning exploding outward as his body hit the ground. The impact cratered the earth. Silence followed. Hulk roared. Not the mindless rage they feared, but something deeper, older, a fury sharpened by betrayal. The ground split beneath his feet as he charged. War Machine fired everything. Hulk tore the missiles out of the air and smashed them back into the sky. Hawkeye's arrows shattered against his skin. Black Widow tried to flank. Hulk stopped inches from her face, eyes burning. "Not you," he growled. "You tried." She froze. Carol met Hulk head-on, fists glowing brighter than the sun. They collided, shockwaves tearing through the dead city, buildings collapsing like paper. Hulk staggered, then pushed back, strength compounding with every heartbeat. Thor rose from the rubble, bleeding, smiling. Lightning answered him, not summoned, but drawn. The storm above twisted inward, pouring power into him like the sky itself had chosen a side. "You want him," Thor shouted. "You go through me." He hurled Mjolnir at Carol midair, smashing her into Hulk's grip. Hulk slammed her into the ground, not to kill, but to stop. Thor landed beside him. For the first time since they'd met, they stood together not as accident, not as joke, not as rivals, but as brothers in war. The Avengers hesitated. That was the mistake. Thor moved like judgment given form. Lightning shattered Strange's shields. Hulk tore War Machine from the sky and pinned him to the ground without crushing the suit. A message, not an execution. "You're holding back," Carol spat, dragging herself up. "So are you," Hulk replied. Tony's voice crackled over the comms. "Enough." No one listened. Thor turned toward the sound. "You started this." Tony appeared in a new suit, heavier, darker, built for gods. "I'm ending it," he said. They clashed. Thunder against tech. Lightning against repulsors. Tony's suit adapted, until Thor overpowered it anyway, slamming Stark into the ground hard enough to crack the earth beneath him. Thor stood over him, hammer raised. Hulk froze. "Thor." Thor looked back. Hulk shook his head. "Not like this." Thor lowered the hammer. Tony coughed, armor flickering. "You walk away now, there's no coming back." Thor met his eyes. There never was. Hulk stepped forward, placing a massive hand on Thor's shoulder. "We go." Thor nodded. The Avengers didn't stop them. Because they couldn't. Because something had broken that couldn't be fixed with apologies or protocols. Thor and Hulk walked away together, not victorious, not defeated, but changed. Behind them stood the Avengers. And for the first time since they'd assembled, they didn't look like heroes. They looked like survivors of a war they didn't win. They didn't chase. Not because they couldn't, but because they finally understood what they'd become. The Avengers stood among the ruins, surrounded by silence louder than any war. Smoke rose, buildings burned, but no one moved. No one spoke. Thor and Hulk were gone. Just gone. Off the radar, off the map, off the grid. Whispers spread within hours. Some said they vanished into the shadow realms. Others claimed Hulk found a lost planet, and Thor was building a city in the clouds. But the truth? They went where no one could follow, because no one was worthy anymore. Tony sat alone, helmet off, watching the satellite feed loop over and over. The moment Thor walked away, he'd seen gods fall. He'd buried friends. But watching Thor leave wasn't defeat. It was judgment, and it hurt more than any battle ever had. Meanwhile, far beyond the cities, in the wildlands where even satellites fade out, Hulk knelt in the grass, sun on his face. His hands weren't shaking. For the first time in decades, there was no war in his chest. He breathed in. "Feels quiet," he said. Thor smiled, sitting beside him. "For now. You think they'll come back? They always do. But you won't stop?" Thor looked toward the sky. "No, but I won't kill them either." Hulk nodded slowly. "You still believe in them?" "No," Thor said softly. "I believe in you." Back in the tower, the council disbanded. The files were locked. Protocols erased. No more kill orders. No more secret tribunals. Tony erased the last file personally, the one labeled Omega Verdict, and left without a word. Carol went off-world. Strange disappeared into a dimension that didn't have names. Natasha stood at the broken window for hours, holding a photo no one else could see. The team wasn't broken. It just wasn't a team anymore. And the world? The world remembered. Not the war, not the weapons, but the look on Thor's face when he raised his hammer to protect, not destroy. The way Hulk knelt instead of fought. The moment two monsters chose mercy, while heroes chose fear. That's what echoed. That's what lived. Not in headlines, not in councils, but in stories. The kind whispered by children beside campfires. The kind people tell when they need to believe that even the most dangerous among us can choose a different ending. And maybe, just maybe, save themselves.